All right. Hey, everyone. This is Jessica Hayes here, and I'm coming to you guys live from my home office. And we are going to get started here in about 1 minute. And it looks like everyone is currently muted. We've got a special guest joining us tonight. I'm going to give a proper introduction to her here in a moment when we get started. I just started streaming live onto Facebook as well. And so I'm going to jump on really quick, make sure that everything looks good. If you can jump in the chat box right now, whether you're on the Zoom with us or you're watching on Facebook, let me know that you can hear us loud and clear. That way we can get going. Let's see, I've got some friend requests coming in. I always get distracted by that. And looking for the event page, product education. We are on there when we get, and we're live. All right, perfect. So here's the deal. It's 8 o'clock and I don't like to keep anyone waiting. So we're gonna get going. We have a ton of information that we're gonna get through. And we were discussing this earlier, my special guest and I both, which I hope it doesn't get confusing because her name is Jessica as well. But we both tend to speak fast and get to the point quickly. So we've tried to remind ourselves to tone it down, to kind of relax and have fun tonight. That way you guys can keep up. But we do want to try to do this in a timely fashion as well. So this will be a little bit of interaction. So if you guys have comments, have questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. There's 3 different places that this is going to be streaming. I can only watch 2 of them. So you either have to be on the Zoom at reactivateyourlife.com for me to see your comment, or on the Facebook, hang on 1 second, or on the Facebook stream where I can see that as well. If you are on the watch party that Brandon is playing, I will not be able to see those comments. So I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of where I can see comments, where I can't. Again, if you're on the watch party, I won't be able to answer your questions because I simply won't see them. So again, my name is Jessica Hayes. I'm one of the co-owners of Life Activated Brands. And as some of you all know, this actually started out as an e-commerce store earlier this year. Now, we had plans all along to take this into network marketing, and we're very excited to be doing that now. We're going to be launching beta launching in the fall and going into a full launch in April of 2020. We're extremely excited about the opportunity in front of us. And we just finalized so many details today that makes it so real. And, just seeing the products developing, and if you saw the post on Life Activated's Facebook page, then you got to see what the product packaging of the product that we're going to be speaking about tonight actually looks like. Now, unfortunately, I don't have that exact pack here with me tonight. I do have a sample pack that I have that is the packaging, and it works all the same. So I'm going to actually show you guys that. But again, unfortunately, I don't have the one that has our branding on it, which kind of stinks. But we'll get there, okay? We're still about 6 weeks out from this product even being available. That's how early you guys are getting on here and seeing this thing. So still about 6-7 weeks out of products being available to ship to you. But we wanted to take this time and opportunity to educate everyone on the reasoning behind this. So Life Activated Brands is a new network marketing company. That means that we have basically a business opportunity where you can become an independent business owner with us, and you can take part in the profits. So it basically says that we're going to manufacture products for you. We're going to do all the marketing for you. And we are going to basically ship all, we're going to do the transaction. We're going to ship it. We're going to do everything. If you wanted to partner with us as an IBO, independent business owner, then your job is simply to tell everyone about it. And so if you tell your best friend about it, they purchase this product, then you get paid for that. It's that simple. But our goal, our company mission here is that we are basically, we're focused on overall health, okay? There's always purpose behind our products, and we're gonna dive into that with my special guest in just a moment. But something that I think is very important for me to put out there is that one of our missions here at Life Activated Brands is being the people's company. And what does that mean? That means that this is a company founded by network marketers, individuals who have participated in the field side, building their own company or building their own business, over the past, decade plus. And we've experienced some, ups and downs, and we had, just a strong will to come to kind of make some partnerships happen and really put a plan in place that would really help people succeed and not have some of the pitfalls that we've experienced along the way. And so we've done that. We feel great about it. It's been incredible over the past couple of weeks as we've kind of opened things up. Our back office has launched. We've started, kind of expanding. Some IBOs have been coming on board with us, and it's been incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and introduce you all to our special guest, and that is I won't say Miss because it is Dr. Jessica Thomason Mills, and she is actually out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Jessica, she has a lot of wins in her life. I'll put it that way. She's got an incredible husband, 2 amazing little girls, but on top of that, she's a doctor of pharmacy and naturopath. And like I said, she's currently practicing in Owensboro, Kentucky, which is actually at her own pharmacy, Owensboro's Family Pharmacy and Wellness. And post-doctorate, she's done studies on CBD and hemp extracts and currently advises businesses on how CBD oil works and their therapeutic uses for their patients. So this is going to be an amazing conversation that we're going to get into. This girl is beyond educated on this stuff. She's so much smarter than I am. So I will try to help dumb this down as much as we can as she's doing this, because I speak in like 3rd grade terms. So I'll help her keep this as simple as possible. I think she's going to be able to do that anyways. But Jessica, welcome to our webinar tonight. Thank you for joining us and spending this time away from your amazing family to really help us deliver this incredible content to our following here.
Not a problem. I'm so excited. And thank you guys for making this an amazing opportunity. And the vision that you and Brandon have is absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited to be able to be part of the journey, to be able to just kind of shake up this industry. It's a pretty new industry. There's a lot of people that are jumping into it, but you guys have set it up to where you've done your homework. And we've been consulting with you and Brandon ever since the very beginning of this thing. And so I'm just super excited to be able to come on to offer any kind of education. I want for everyone to get out of this what they need so that you can feel confident in understanding the products, how they work, the benefits of having them. And so please feel free at any point in time, if you're watching the replay of this, if you see it shared somewhere, you need something else, absolutely let me know. And I've got friend requests coming in too. Why not? Let us know if you have any questions. Please feel free to send me a Facebook message, whatever it is that you need to do, so that we can answer questions so that you are really confident, because I've seen this product. I absolutely love it. I haven't seen all the new cool delivery stuff yet, but we've been involved with helping with formulations and what exactly is in this oil and what makes this a superior oil that's different than anything else that's out on the market right now. And so let me know. I would love to be able to connect with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and dive in, and let's first discuss kind of the reason that we're here, which is the discovery of a system within each of our bodies that kind of was neglected for decades, right? And so
right.
Let's talk about that system. What is that system? And I'm going to let you just kind of dive in. And if I feel like I need to stop and slow us down, I will.
Awesome. So we're talking about the endocannabinoid system. It was just discovered in the 1990s. So it's actually a little bit younger than I am. And what's crazy about it is that there were some scientists overseas. I think he was in Israel. He was an Israeli scientist that discovered this entire system, and they started looking at it in mice and in lab rats, and they found it in humans. But it's been a really hot topic of discussion. There's a lot of really cool research that's going on with it. And there's still some talk about receptors that we don't even know, and we'll get into that later on. but it's the endocannabinoid system. And so we found it in the 1990s. Basically, our own bodies make these endocannabinoids, or these chemicals. And what they do is it's a whole system. So it's like a central nervous system or your circulatory system. It involves a lot of different parts. But so there's endocannabinoids, and our bodies make two of them. And every other animal with a spine also does this too. So it's one of the things that I saw that helped me was whenever a lion is trying to hunt a zebra and he keeps getting kicked and beat up while he's trying to do this, the thing that really allows for him and his body and this lion to still attack and to not feel as much pain in that moment is to be able to, it's when their endocannabinoid system kicks in. So whenever there's a change to your environment, whenever there is a trauma, whenever there is any sort of a change, our body makes two different endocannabinoids, and those go to different receptors. And those are usually CB1 or CB2 receptors for the cannabinoid 1, cannabinoid 2. And we first started by finding CB1, which was in the brain. We knew a little bit about it because THC, just from straight marijuana, the THC will bind to those receptors on like immediately and hits on top of them. With CBD and other cannabinoids, it's a little bit different. So where we're not exactly sure how it works with those receptors yet, there's theories that it might bind to a receptor that we haven't even discovered. So it's a brand new system. But what it does is it helps your body maintain homeostasis, which is where whenever there's a trauma or something that happens, your body wants to help itself, and your body wants to help to, adapt to that change. And so your body releases it. It hops on these receptors. There's CB2, which is in the immune system cells. It's in the brain. It's in everything. It's everywhere. CB1's mostly in the brain. CB2's in the skin and different organs, the kidneys, the liver, immune system, and everywhere. And so what we found is that those different types of receptors in that whole system, it really impacts the way that we do a lot of our daily basic functions. So how we sleep, what our mood is, the things that we're feeling, how good we feel that day. And so that's really what the point of the endocannabinoid system is to be able to recognize what's going on and then be able to make a chemical. It has a whole lot of receptors. It's got a whole lot of enzymes, and it basically allows for your body to recover from whatever change in your environment you've had going on. So that's pretty much how that works.
Okay, so what I got from that in basic terms is that basically the ECS, or the endocannabinoid system, is helping us balance our body, basically. So it's helping us get into homeostasis, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. And then I've got, because you sent me your notes earlier, so I highlighted some things that I wanted to just reiterate in case people kind of lost track.
Right.
And you talked about there being receptors in so much of the body, in the brain, the nerves, skin, immune cells, bones, fat tissues, liver, muscles, pancreas, heart, blood vessels, kidneys, thyroid, and GI systems. So
yes.
when I read your notes on that, which I've done a lot of studying on it myself anyways, but it just reminded me how powerful our ECS, is in each one of us. Just reading that list, I'm sure a lot of people are sitting there thinking, wow, I have this issue in my body. If the ECS system communicates with it, then there's got to be something out there, right? So that might help me. And of course, we want to try to keep this as compliant as possible. So maybe Jessica on her own page one day can do a nice long discussion into this that doesn't have to be quite so compliant. But I mean, it's just crazy how this thing it's literally in every little area of our body, and right. it helps us get back into that homeostasis. All right, so that is the endocannabinoid system. So let's move on. Let's move on and let's talk about how CBD, how does CBD work with the ECS to get us back into that homeostasis or balanced, spot?
So what CBD does, and we're not 100% sure because it's such a new system, which is my favorite part of science, right? Like it's 2019, how do we not know? But what CBD, the main theory is that whenever you take CBD, whether it's as, an oil or whatever form you're consuming, it pretty much stops the breakdown of those cannabinoids that your own body makes. So those are called like AEA and 2AG, and there's lots of different terms, and it's easy to get kind of overwhelmed with it. But basically, CBD doesn't allow for the chemicals that help your endocannabinoid system function and help it to balance everything. It doesn't allow those chemicals to be broken down as fast, so you get more of a benefit from what your body already makes by taking CBD. So there's also different receptors and there's different actions. CB1 receptors act totally different than the CB2 receptors do. And then there's different strains of hemp that are grown that go into and make the CBD. And there's a whole group of cannabinoids. So basically what they do is there might be a new receptor. We're not 100% sure at this point that CBD directly binds to, but what it looks like right now in science is that it helps to stop the breakdown and slow the breakdown of our own body's chemicals that we make, our own endocannabinoids. And there might actually be medical conditions that have been called, and I think it's called CECD, which is clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. And so it's being looked at as maybe the root cause for certain health conditions that we don't know exactly what's causing them. And we're kind of starting to see them. We don't know where they're coming from. People weren't dealing with it 50 years ago. So really CBD, what it's doing is it's helping to rebalance that system, and it's helping to fuel that endocannabinoid system and fuel your body to be able to make yourself feel better and to balance out.
Awesome. So you just mentioned something, and this is not official. This is like my own little theory, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, or tell me just to shut up and let's move on. You just said, 50 years ago, we weren't seeing some of these conditions, and, it could be the ECS that, the deficiency of, feeding
Mm-hmm.
that system that could be causing this. And it makes me think that, let's just go ahead and say a century ago, because it was almost 100 years ago that, hemp, marijuana was banned. And everyone stopped growing it. It wasn't there anymore for our livestock to feed on. And so hemp was totally taken out of our food supply. That's how we got this 100 years ago. Is that right? Am I correct, or am I off the wall?
No, you're 100% right. And so we used to, and it was usually like it was given in the food for the animals that we would then also eat. So cows and pigs and stuff like that. And so whenever that became an illicit substance and we couldn't get it, we couldn't feed it to the animals. There's not very many other things that feed that endocannabinoid system. And we didn't know it at the time, 100 years ago, because we just discovered it, in the 90s. And so that's what a lot of people are saying, is that we're seeing these new conditions because over time throughout the generations, we've just gotten to where we don't have anything that feeds the endocannabinoid system. And so I think a lot of the benefits that people are hearing and sharing that they're having from CBD oil can be from, you're restarting an entire system that you were born with, that every animal with a spine has, to balance your body and to make sure that you're feeling as good as you can. And we haven't had anything to be able to fuel that. So I think that's where a lot of the benefit is coming from. And that's where a lot of the excitement in scientific research and literature is, because if you've got a system that you've had the whole time and you haven't been feeding it, what's going to start happening when you can start to rebalance and your body can start to support what it needs and it gets what it needs to be able to make you actually be healthy and stay healthy.
Absolutely. So we have CBD, we have THC.
Mm-hmm.
The product we're going to be talking about tonight is a full spectrum product. So THC is in the product. Now,
right.
A lot of people are wondering, there's myths, people are curious, right? Does the THC that you would get out of, a hemp derived CBD, does it get you high? Do you, have that, effect like smoking marijuana? Let's just throw it out there. Is that effect there, or is it not?
So no, it is absolutely not there. You do not get high from consuming THC in a CBD product. One of the interesting things that I looked at whenever they started making Charlotte's Web, and there's been some CBD oil that's been made in other states where marijuana and everything was legalized, is that a lot of times what surprised me, and I didn't know, is that yes, they're prescribing medical marijuana, but there's also a certain ratio of CBD that goes in with that. And the main reason for that is that CBD actually helps to bump the THC off of receptors. So like that CB1 that's in the brain, and the marijuana is able to directly bind to it, and it causes those psychoactive effects. CBD is able to actually kick that THC off of the receptor. And so what they'll do, like for kids that are having seizures and people that are using that for those purposes, the medical marijuana, and they get the prescription, they put a CBD ratio in there with that so that it doesn't cause those psychoactive effects, so that they can get to doses of marijuana that are therapeutic. And again, we're not here to diagnose, treat, or mitigate any sort of medical conditions whatsoever. But we're just talking about the way.
You were saying marijuana anyways. We're dealing with hemp, not marijuana, so we're good.
Right, exactly. So just wanted to make sure that it was clear that no, you should not just start taking CBD and not listen to your doctor. But if you have questions, you can definitely ask me, and I am 100% free to answer any questions as far as what I've seen in my patients and in my clients that I have. So there's that. But anyway, so as far as that, you do not get high from it. The legal amount is 0.3% THC. And with the CBD concentration and at that ratio, even if you consume a large amount of it, you're not going to get high at all. There is no psychoactive effects from it.
Because there's too much CBD to allow that THC to give you any type of effect. Like
exactly.
When you smoke marijuana has what, 20+% THC in it, I think is what it is. Is that right?
It depends on the strain. Like there's different strains that are great. And we'll talk a little bit about that, like the cannabinoids and the terpenes and what goes into each one. Some are just really high THC strains. And so what's funny is the way that they kind of found CBD is, they were growing it, and there are certain strains that have very little amounts of THC and are very high in CBD. So before this CBD oil business and everything started, before the research that showed that it could be, therapeutic and beneficial, they were just like, oh, this is bad weed. So it's not that. There's actual medical things that are being researched to see what they're able to help with. So yes, you cannot get high from CBD. That cannot happen.
So that last 5 minutes of that conversation was to educate you, because a lot of the people who are on this webinar are IBOs with us. This is product education, right? So we want to make sure that when people ask you, well, am I going to get high? Is this going to happen? We want to make sure that you are aware and you can personally answer that confidently for that person. So you might have to come back and watch this a couple of times, let all that information sink in. But I want to go ahead and move on now, and let's talk about our newest product that we're launching, which is LivCana. That is our brand of our hemp-derived products. LivCana Premium Hemp Oil plus MCT, which is our full spectrum. I can show you. I don't have the right picture. All right, I'm going to show you. It has the wrong name on it. We changed our name. But this is kind of what it looks like, and it is a terrible printout. But it gives you an idea. If you looked on our Facebook page, then you got to see it. My light is flashing on it a little bit, but it's a little packet, literally about that size, maybe a little bit. It's actually smaller than that. So this is my hand. Beside it is smaller than that. It's literally a 1 milliliter dose that is going to come in that product. So it is a full spectrum product. And I want us to dive into the benefits, the ingredients, how to use this product. I want us to dive into all of it. So let's first talk about the benefits. And one of the first ones I think that comes to mind when I've used it is it calming the mood. So you want to hit on how it calms the mood?
Yeah. And so there's lots of different benefits. And what I love about this product is that every single thing that's in it actually does have a benefit. And so there's lots of different reasons that it could be helping the mood. So you guys have MCT oil, which has also been shown to elevate mood. You've got peppermint, which also has been shown to do that. And then you've got the CBD itself, and the actual hemp extract. So I love every part of it. What I've noticed whenever I've seen my clients, taking it, we've had patients that came in that have been suffering for a long time and started to use this product and have been able to completely, have a totally different lifestyle and not even have to take those medications anymore. Not recommending it, just saying. Yeah. But I've seen like really, really impressive.
Doctor approving first.
Right. And so I've seen a ton of patients that have benefited from this as far as mood. What it does, again, we don't know exactly which receptor it binds to or how it exactly works. It's indirect, and we know that. But that CB1 receptor that's in the brain is so incredibly important and tied to mood, as well as that homeostasis. And so just by the way that it tries to balance everything out, it's so fantastic at doing that that with the CB1 receptors being so concentrated in your entire nervous system and in your brain, it's not really a wonder how it can help with mood, with, things like that. So I absolutely love it for that. That's one of the main recommendations that I give to patients whenever they say, hey, what can I do? I've got some problems, especially if they're new. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic.
And this isn't like an antidepressant. It's not anything like that. That's not what we're saying either.
Right.
But when we say it balances the mood, it just means that it's going to help you just be a little calmer.
Yeah.
It's going to chill you out. Like we were speaking earlier about getting high. It's not that kind of calming the mood. It's literally about a full balance in your body. Just with the way that you feel. And I'm going based off, me taking the product myself. Some of the, when we go throughout our day, some of the stress that might creep in, or the anxiety that might creep in, some of those things, if you're consuming this on a regular basis, it seems to have a harder time to creep in on you. You seem to have a better control, from the
Right.
get-go due to it. Due to the next thing, which is CBD feeding your endocannabinoid system, which, as Dr. Mills mentioned earlier, is that the CBD helps your ECS to not basically overwork itself. It keeps it a little chiller. So it feeds the endocannabinoid system. And then we talked earlier about how it supports brain function. Let's dive into that a little bit.
So I know that inflammation is like a bad word. So I'm not going to talk too much about inflammation, but there's from those receptors, if you can imagine all of the different ways, and it helps a lot with stress. And so if you look at what stress and cortisol, which is what you release whenever that's your hormone, that's your fight or flight, your stress hormone, whenever you release that, it affects all types of different tissues. And it affects them pretty much always in a negative way, especially if that stress is chronic and always throughout the day. And so what I like about CBD is that it's not an antidepressant, it's not an anti-anxiety medicine, it's not a prescription medicine. And so for me as a pharmacist, the good thing about that is that it doesn't have the side effects that those medications can. And so for me, I love the fact that it can help with brain function. And we've actually tied different cannabinoids. So there's CBD, there's CBG, and there's CBC that are in this product. Those different cannabinoids, the more cannabinoids and the more terpenes that you have, which is what the hemp extract is made from, and the chemicals that are in it, the more that you have, it has an entourage effect. So it helps the other one be more effective. So we found that CBG is really, really good at helping patients that have different things that are going on with brain function issues, which is the nicest, most chill way that I can talk without having an ICD-10 diagnosis of what a different name for it would be. But I love the fact that if you look at the mechanism and how CBD works, so how CBD works is, besides just hitting that endocannabinoid system, what it does at that point is it starts to decrease your cytokines and your chemokines, which are what your body releases whenever it senses stress and whenever it senses trauma, or whenever it starts the process of inflammation. That's what cytokines and chemokines do. CBD controls that. It doesn't decrease it. You're not going to get sick from not having extra inflammation and having those extra cytokines and chemokines. What you do see is you see that you are more balanced, and it controls that process so that inflammation and those processes can't get out of control, which is when you start to feel really bad and you start to have negative health issues. The other thing that I love about it is that it upregulates your T regulatory cells. That's the part of your immune system that is really good at telling what's you versus what's not you. And so if you think about that happening in the brain, so you've got less of a reaction from cortisol, which is coming from stress. You've got less damage that's being done to those structures and to those tissues because you have less of that cortisol being secreted, and that process is balanced and it's controlled and it's not unregulated. So taking CBD helps for those chemicals that we already make, our own endocannabinoids. It helps them to be more effective. It helps them to stay in our system for longer. And so it's going to help in the brain where a lot of receptors are, to not have the bad effects from stress. And it's also going to help with cortisol so it doesn't cause all of those really, really bad chronic diseases and processes. And so that's how it essentially works.
Gotcha. So the next big benefit is that it strengthens the immune system. And this one, I think this one's powerful. So I'll let you dive into it.
It's amazing. So, like I said, it helps to upregulate those T regulatory cells. And what that does is, I've seen a lot of patients that come in that have a dysregulated immune system. They've got some chronic conditions, some diagnosis. They've noticed some weird stuff going on. They've got some pain in some places. They've got some stuff going on. And so, whenever I'm able to recommend a product that doesn't have side effects and is also able to upregulate your immune system and those cells that it looks at, it helps to boost the job of basically your immune system's cops. And so these cops are able to look and see what's going on around them, what doesn't belong, what does belong. And whenever our immune system, based on our diet, based on our stress levels, based on, what we're exposed to throughout the day, whenever your immune system can't determine what's good for you to stay and what's bad for you to leave, when it can't tell the difference between those two, that's when you start to have some serious issues in those autoimmune problems. So I love the fact that even if you don't have an autoimmune condition, you haven't been diagnosed with something, it still is able to help to boost that immune system to be able to function the way that your body was meant for it to work.
Yeah, I love it. Such good stuff. So many benefits.
Right?
So
All
many.
the things.
So let's dive into you, and you kind of have already hit on this. Did you want to hit anything else on ingredients? So I'll break this down in case you're taking notes, guys. The ingredients of this product is a full spectrum CBD oil that does include a 0.3% THC or less. It has MCT oil, natural peppermint flavor, and stevia. And I don't think we hit on stevia. I know a lot of people sometimes question that. So I'm going to turn it over to you to let you kind of hit on that real quick for us.
Cool. So the stevia is actually a leaf. It's been a plant that's been used for centuries by different cultures. And obviously it has a sweet taste to it. So it's not a wonder that it's been around for a long time and it's been heavily used before. We just kind of started using it and incorporating it. And I think it's because it was a natural substance, that there was a little bit of hesitation from like food industries and stuff. But with the issues of the chronic diseases that we have, they were looking for something that didn't cause the damage that, consuming a large amount of sugar can. So with stevia, it helps to really control your blood sugar, and it also can help control blood pressure. And I'm not just talking crazy. Yes, it tastes sweet, but we found that in patients that had elevated blood glucose levels, after they consumed stevia, it seemed like it actually decreased their sugar levels by about 18%. And what's interesting is we thought, oh, well, is this, affecting the pancreas? Is this going to do it for healthy people? Because we don't want for healthy people's blood sugars to crash. And they noticed in the study that it didn't. It did not impact anyone who didn't already have an elevated glucose. The other thing that they noticed is that in people that had elevated blood pressures, that stevia consumption as that herb and as that leaf, whenever they had it in a tincture, which is the form that this is, it was able to decrease blood pressures as well. And so it's not something that's going to say, hey, let's take you off your medicines, but it is something that has a therapeutic benefit. And it's also much better for you than just consuming straight up sugar. And I love the fact that it's something that could be helpful for patients. Just the stevia usage itself as a sugar substitute, so that they don't have to worry so much about what is my blood sugar going to be after this? Is this going to make my blood pressure, my blood sugar go up? Because of the stevia, we haven't seen that as an issue with that mineral and with that product.
Awesome. And just to clarify here, she's not speaking specifically on our product. She's speaking as stevia as an individual substance there. So that's not to say our product will do any of that.
Exactly.
That our product
yes.
will do that. So I just want to make that clarity. So don't go to Facebook after this and start telling everyone this is what their product does, because there is no study that says that's what it does. We're just helping you understand that the reasoning behind stevia being in there, beyond just helping us have an incredible sweet mint flavor, which, by the way, truly does taste amazing. When they sent it to us, I had several different tastes to try, and as soon as I put it on my tongue, I was like, that's it. Everyone will love it, from kids to my great grandparents. Everyone's going to love the taste of this product because it is refreshing. I almost wanted to change it from sweet mint to fresh mint because I thought maybe people won't like the idea that it says sweet. And then I thought, you know what? Yes, they will, because we all like our little sweet treats. So
Exactly. Yes.
it is sweet mint. It absolutely tastes amazing, guys. Peppermint has been a huge seller for us. We're not going to carry peppermint anymore. Sweet mint's going to be the only flavor that we carry, but it is incredible. I'm excited for everyone to be able to taste this product. So let's talk about, let's see, let's talk about the dosage. So we were discussing back when we were formulating this product, Jess, and, I was asking you, what dosage should we do? And you finally came back and you said, let's keep it, at that about 16 milligrams dose, because that's what you recommend. Is that right?
Yes. So for a lot of our patients and a lot of our clients, and a lot of the research has shown, because we've looked at dosages, obviously, if you take too much of anything, you can have negative effects. And so there was a study, and just for product education, you might hear about it. So there was a study where they took CBD extract in an oil and they gave it to rats. Now they did 15 milligrams per kilogram, which is like 50 milligrams for every couple pounds, like it's 2.2 pounds. So the thing is that in these mice that they injected that's like us drinking a whole entire bottle or like half gallon of this stuff. It's insane.
It's like 700 milligrams would be
Yeah, it's insane. Like for me, it was like 1400 because I'm a big girl anyway. And so like I calculated it just to see how ridiculous the study was. And they did the study to show like what was going to happen if you gave way too much of it. And it's possibly because we just had a drug that was approved called Cannabidiol for certain seizures and for that. And it's a very high dosage. So they were kind of doing it to see like what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I was saying that the Epidiolex is like a more pure dose of CBD. It's not anything like what you would get from a normal company.
Right. It's so much more concentrated. And so they had to do a study to see what was going to happen if you just, if someone took way too much of it. And the answer is it makes your liver slow down. And by slow down, I mean, some mice had like liver failure, all kinds of stuff. The dosage that we recommend for humans, because that's what we are, because we're not mice, to avoid liver failure or death or anything crazy, is between like 15 to 20 milligrams. And a lot of times it depends on like what strains you're using, what cannabinoids, what terpenes are in those strains. So after I was able to see what was in your all certificate of analysis, which is awesome that you provide, because no CBD company should sell things without having a COA, because you don't want to take something if you don't know what's in it. The dosage for you guys being at that like 16.7, I think, milligrams per ml is absolutely perfect. We like to stay between 15 and 20, and with the different strains that you guys have and the CBD and the terpenes, it's at an absolutely perfect dosage so that you can feel the effects that are appropriate. And I'm not concerned about having anything crazy happen. I'm not worried about side effects, because I've been selling CBD in my pharmacy ever since like 2017. And I've never had someone come back with any liver issues, never had anyone come back with any really, really bad stuff. And we always talk to you. So if you have questions for your patients or your clients that are wanting to buy it, but they're hesitant, they need to talk to someone about the medicines that they take. I'm uniquely qualified as a pharmacist and a naturopath to be able to combine the two. So if they have questions, the drugs that we really care about are those that have a narrow index. And what that means is if their dose is wrong, they can start to have some really bad side effects. And that's mostly like blood thinners and thyroid medicines and things that they're already being tested for anyway, because with or without CBD, their dose could be too high or too low. So if they have questions, reach out, hit me up, let me know. But at this dosage, I love the fact that it's 1 milliliter. And I just want to shout out to the actual type of delivery system, because on top of having tremendous benefits for like as samples and as a retailer, I love this. The main thing that I love is that with CBD and the issue that in the system that we have now, which is just a glass bottle and a dropper, is that there's no consistency. Because what does a half dropper to you look like versus what is it to me versus what does that look like when the bottle's low? So a lot of us, what we've always wanted is to be able to say, yes, you're getting 16.7 milligrams every single time. And so I love the fact that with your all's product, it's 1 ml every time, same amount, and it's consistency, because a lot of times people will try something and they'll say, oh, well, it didn't work for me. And when you start to ask, well, I didn't do quite half a dropper, or I forgot to do it that day, or I didn't have it with me. Because I'm a mom, I've got tons of bags and I have no idea where the CBD is in the third or fourth diaper bag. Like, do I have a purse? I don't know. So I love the fact that y'all can throw this in your pocket and it's consistently the perfect dose every single time.
Absolutely. So we had a couple questions, and it's actually what we want to hit on next, which is
Cool.
How is our CBD process? And of course, that is CO2 extraction. So, Jess, if you want to hit on that process, I'll let you do that.
Yeah. So CO2 extraction is my personal favorite type of extraction for CBD products. The other option is usually ethanol. So if you imagine you've got a plant, and so you can either put the entire plant, the stalk, the leaves, the flower, all of that part into a combined container, and then you get it really, 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 really cold. And at that point, it creates an oil because it's very highly pressurized. And so basically, the way that this is made is it squeezes out the oil from all of the hemp from all the parts of the plant. With ethanol extraction, they typically just use the flower, which it kind of misses out on some of the terpenes. And I think if you look at some of the COAs for ethanol extracted products, you'll notice that it doesn't have the same cannabinoids and terpenes that this product does have. And I love the fact that it's CO2. Like, I saw it, and the first thing I thought was, well, obviously this is CO2 extracted, because it has more of the actual cannabinoids to help the other ones be more effective. And then it's also a pure product. With ethanol, they just soak the flower, they soak it in alcohol. They're able to pull the chemicals out of the plant that way. And then at that point, they either use a solvent or a heating or cooling process to be able to get the ethanol to go out. So for me, I don't really like the idea of putting a different carbon-based organic substance into a flower, and then just extracting that. And hopefully they got all the ethanol out, because in chemistry, you learn that like dissolves like. It's made of carbon, I'm made of carbon. So I like the fact that yours is like the whole plant, full spectrum, has everything. And then it's a more clean and a more pure way to be able to get the oil itself. And it's more inclusive and has a wider variety of cannabinoids and terpenes. So that's basically CO2. Throw it into a pot, pressurize it a ton, squeeze all the oil out, and then you go through that process of winterizing and all the fun stuff. But that's the difference.
Awesome. So, and our hemp is U.S. based, farmed here in the United States. I wouldn't have it any other way. And let's see. I had my question somewhere, and I don't know what I did with the piece of paper. There was one other question. Oh, it was about all of our manufacturing. So all the manufacturing, the extraction, everything is done under the same mother company. It is different facilities simply because legally that's just how it had to happen. But yes, it's all under the same company. So there's like full control over everything, which is incredible. I'm so happy to be able to launch a company in that manner and to have the ability to do that. Our partners that we have in business are absolutely amazing. You guys will get to I'm sure meet them all one day. You won't just see me, you'll get to meet these other guys and hear all about them. But they've done some amazing things to help us get to the point of where we are in launching Life Activated Brand. So a couple little things before we end this that I'll give you on the product, or I'll let Jess, is there anything else that you want to hit on before I hit just some basic stuff to leave them with?
So I think dosing, and I don't know what you want to talk about later on, but I know that as far as dosing, I really like to have people dose it in the morning as well as like in the evening before bed, because it seems like it really helps about 12 hours apart. If you can consume the CBD in that manner, it seems like you have a better, more long lasting and a better benefit. And you can just feel it a little bit more. So I like to do it then. And I'm sure you probably have the thing where you're going to present it and how you can squeeze it out. Okay, so I'll let you talk about how to do it and where it goes under the tongue. The main reason that we do it that way is because there's so many blood vessels and it's highly vascularized under the tongue. So it enters the blood, like in the blood system and the body very quickly that way. Whereas like with a capsule and some other things, it takes a little bit more time to be able to break it down. And for some people, that's fine. But I love it if you're giving a sample to someone, or if you're, asking, hey, when is this going to take effect? If they're putting it in an oil form under the tongue, it's going to have the highest, like most rapid effect possible. So we talked about that. The MCT oil, it can help with the mood. The peppermint in and of itself is amazing because of the things that peppermint can do with focus and with energy and all that good stuff. So the main thing that I love that really impressed me with you guys and with this product is the different cannabinoids that are in it and the terpenes. Terpenes are kind of what give any plant, it's in all kinds of stuff, the certain smell that they have. So I'm sure that you've probably heard in rap songs, if nowhere else, like Pineapple Express was a movie, like Blueberry, like OG, and all the different ones, Sour Diesel. The main difference between those, like it's all the same plant species, but they all have different terpenes. So your all's product is amazing because there are people that are trying to add terpenes to the actual CBD oil that they've got. Whereas you guys didn't have to do that. It just automatically tested positive for that. And from those different terpenes, there's some amazing benefits. I know it's got beta carotene, it's got G-terpenine, it's got saponine and myrcene. And so with a lot of those, I know I can't get into on here like the medical benefits of what those different terpenes do. But you have inspired me to do a live on my Facebook page so I can talk about it. So whenever I do it, you can just point them in my direction and I'll tell them like what's going on. Yeah. But I love it. I've personally used it. The sweet mint is what I've had here. We've sold it at multiple different places whenever it was that e-commerce business. We gave out samples over the weekend that we had from our older product. And everyone just absolutely loved the taste because a lot of people don't realize that the taste of a lot of the CBD products is terrible. Like we formulated a product called Frontier and the taste was awful and it had nothing to do with, but it was also an ethanol extraction. And after I'd done that, that's when I kind of learned the difference between why is the CO2 extraction so much better than the ethanol and how do you make a product that tastes good? So I think that one of the things that no one needs to underestimate is how amazing this product is as far as what it contains, but also it's really hard to make a CBD oil that tastes as good as this. And so I love absolutely everything about it. I love the delivery system. I love the stuff it's got in it and how it tastes and how easy it's going to be for people. And I already am in love with the absolute amazing effects that CBD oil is having on my patients and on my clients. So y'all get excited. Like I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
All right.
Anyway.
So thank you, Jessica. I appreciate you so much being on here with us. Guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you this little baby right here. This is actually bigger than what our product is, which is crazy because I can hide it in my hands, and so it's going to be even smaller. But this is a single serving. Now, this is fake packaging. This is not our packaging. I showed you what ours will look like. This was just a sample that I asked them to send me so that I could show it to you guys. Basically, this is the size of it. So you can see that by my hand right there. And ours will actually be skinnier than this. So take off about this much of it, and that's how big it is. It's going to be 1 milliliter. This is a 2.5 milliliter. But I want to show you guys how it works, how simple it's going to be to just take this, which by the way is like easy to travel with. I've got 4 points here. It's travel friendly. It's not going to bust open on you. It's going to have to hit, and I'm going to show it to you in a second, a full 90 degrees before the liquid pops out of it. So a full 90 degrees, you can carry this in your back pocket. I mean, you could throw it in your purse as long as you don't like throw stuff on top of it. Put it in a secure spot in your purse. It's going to be great. My favorite part, and Jess kind of hit on this too, is it's hygienic and clean. And what do I mean by that? One, you can let people sample it without you having to like give them your dropper, right? And then touch their tongue to it, and you're like, great, now I have to put this back in my oil. So you're not having to pull that dropper in and out of the oil. It's not going to be degraded by light, by air, by your saliva getting on the dropper and then sitting in, back into the oil, for days or maybe even weeks before you finish that oil. It is going to be single serving, so it's going to be an equal, consistent dose. And my favorite, because we are network marketing, the majority of you guys on here right now are IBOs with us, and having something that is easy to share with people is the most important. Guys, we've done the pricing out on this. I can't share the pricing yet, but I can tell you that it is affordable. And that is my favorite thing about it, is that we are competitive with everything that's out on the market right now. We are competitive, and no one on the market has our delivery system. They don't have a single serving that is as easy to do as this. And that's what I love. That's what makes us stand apart. So I want to make sure that's everything. Our boxes are going to come in 28 of these packs. So that's enough for 4 weeks. essentially a month. You're going to get 28 of these in your pack at a very reasonable cost that will be released at a later date. And so to show you how this works, Jessica hasn't even seen this yet. So I'm going to have a piece of paper. I wish I could put this in my mouth, but it's skin moisturizer. I'd probably get sick. I have no desire to do that. So I'm going to squirt it out on a piece of paper. And so you're going to see how this bends all the way. And it just now popped over. That's at 90 degrees. Do you guys see that? 90 degrees. And because it'll be oil, it'll come out a little bit easier, but it's that simple. That simple. So
it's like magic. It's amazing. I love it. I'm addicted to it. I think it's awesome.
So you don't have to sit here, you know, I have a dropper right here. I don't have to sit here and try to figure out, oh, where am I over my mouth? Am I going to miss my mouth? I just dropped it on my knee. That's not going to happen because I can put this, wipe the lotion off there. I can put it directly in my mouth, just like this, and just squirt it in my mouth. So no mess. It's great. It's going to be an incredible product for everyone. It's a solid dose that you're going to be getting. Again, it's going to come in 28 in a pack. So if you do want to do the day and night, you just get 2 packs. Again, it's affordable, guys. It's something that, you know, if you have issues that you feel like you need the CBD for, you know, it's going to be affordable for you to be able to do the morning and night. And we wanted to make sure of that. So thank you all for jumping on. I hope I answered all the questions live. If I did not, I will be sure to come back through all the messages and like the million places that this video is and share more with you. Now, here's the cool thing. Next Monday night, we're going to be back here sharing some of the same information, but a brand new product. And it is going to be similar, but we've got 3 more products to release. We're going to do it every Monday night coming up. I think at 8 p.m. I'm going to confirm with Jess. She may want to move it to 9, but I will confirm that. And you guys, if you'll get into our Facebook group, I can send a follow-up email. I can post it wherever, you know, to make sure you're in it. Some of you guys are watching this in the Facebook group already. There's several of you on the webinar that I'll be sure that you can get the details. Again, reactivateyourlife.com is our webinar stop for you to jump on here and catch us anytime that we are live. I appreciate everyone jumping on with us. Jessica, Dr. Mills, I greatly appreciate your knowledge and you taking that time away from your family tonight to join us, because we went twice as long as what we said we were going to do.
Yay! That's perfect. Yes, yes. That's okay.
Yeah, but I think it was valuable information. Next week, I'm sure we'll speed it up because all this information's already been shared. So we'll be able to just kind of touch on it and then move on into the product. But we appreciate everyone. We appreciate you, Jess, and everyone have an incredible night. We'll talk to you all soon.
Bye.